So the Israeli elections remind me of that old Soviet joke. Lenin, the great leader of the Bolshevik Revolution, he was known as such a humble person and such a modest leader that he celebrated birthday only twice a year, like the Israeli elections. Only in Israel's vibrant democracy, election can happen twice a year. This April election outcome created an unprecedented equilibrium of political parties that didn't allow the leading party to form a majority coalition of 61 Knesset seats. Hence, election the sequel. Yes, the sequel. So, let's try to simplify the most current political map. Now, before we get into parties and platforms, let's first understand the three major issues that the Israeli voters care about: national security, economy, and Jewish identity. So, the last round of Israeli election, and even more so the current cycle, are all about the consolidation of political forces on the left and on the right. The recent election results from just 5 months ago can now actually serve as the most accurate exit poll. Small parties on the fringes now know for sure that they're not going to pass the threshold of 3.25% or 4 seats out of 120 in the Knesset. So they leverage their electorate by being absorbed by larger parties, and they bestow their voters on the bigger parties, and in return they get all kinds of political perks like a ministry or an obligation for a certain legislation or a higher priority in the party hierarchy. So it's a win-win really. Okay, let's go very briefly over what happened in the Israeli candidates arena. So in general, one could place all of the Israeli parties from the left through center to the right. Now, the Israeli left is generally very similar to the worldview of the US Democratic Party, and the right can in turn also be associated with the Republican Party and with more conservative orientation, hence the blue and red colors. In the last elections, two leading parties won the same amount of seats, 35 each. 35 out 120 to the moderately right-wing Likud party, led by Benjamin Netanyahu, and another 35 to the centrist blue and white party, which is a recent merger of 4 different parties, led by Benny Gantz and Yair Lapid. These two, should they win, agreed to rotate as prime ministers after 2 years each. These two parties are still the two primary contestants in the upcoming elections. Some parties didn't pass the threshold of minimum 3.25% of the votes, and others barely passed it. Zehut, a libertarian party, didn't pass. So now they're officially absorbed in Likud party, right here. The new right, semi-religious, semi-secular party, didn't pass. They joined forces with the United Right, religious party. So United Right, religious party, under the leadership of Ayelet Shaked, a secular woman, mind you. They're now called simply Yamina, to the right. That's the name of their party. The classic social left seem to be disappearing in Israel. Far left Meretz barely passed the minimum threshold. The Avodah Labor Party that dominated Israel for decades has only got 6 seats, and you know, it's the party of Prime Minister Rabin. They used to get 40, 30, 20 seats, has only got 6 seats in April 2009. So they too are joining forces with even smaller parties and now run under different names. And this guy, Avigdor Lieberman, Israel is our home, who used to be here a little bit to the right, nowadays he has embraced anti-Likud and anti-clerical agenda, so I would put him somewhere here, a little bit to the left. And the two Arab parties, one of them is a communist Arab party, the other is an Islamist party. They also didn't get too much of the vote, so now they join forces and they run together as one political party. All right, anyways, this is old news, so let's get rid of that. This is a brand new and updated one. So now what? Now we have two major competing parties, moderately right-wing Likud and centrist blue and white, each worth around 35 seats. So when one of them wins, they will need to reach out to like-minded parties to get at least 26 seats and to form a 61-seat majority government. On the left, we have the Labour Party that joined forces with another small party called Gesher, and they're now called Avodah Gesher. The far left Meretz has absorbed some prominent politicians like former Prime Minister Ehud Barak and former number 2 in Labour Party, Stāv Shafir, and now they're called the Democratic Front. 3 Arab Islamist parties have also created an alliance and are now expected to get around 12-14 seats. They're called United Arab List. To the right of Likud, we have Yamina, a conglomerate of right-wing, mostly religious parties led by a secular Ayelet Shaked, former Minister of Justice. She is known for her efforts to restrain the judicial branch, which in Israel, unlike in the US, is appointed and not elected. And on the far right, we have the religious Jewish Power Party that promotes complete Israeli sovereignty in Judea and Samaria. It is rejecting universalist values and is for preserving Jewish values, and it traces its roots to Rabbi Meir Kahane. If you want to learn more about the parties, please go on my website in the description below. By the way, how about you actually voting now? Okay, so I voted again, and now it's your turn. You can either vote at the JCC on September 17th, and if you're not at the JCC on that date, that's fine. You can vote online. You'll see the link below. I'll see you there.